Welcome to Conscious TV to part two with Laura Magdalene Eisenhower. How are you feeling so far, Laura?
Great. How you feeling?
Pretty good, pretty good. Excited. Um, so we're gonna get into the military complex a little more, as we promised you. Laura, handing over the
Uh-huh.
mic to you.
So, well,
Oh,
let's start with one aspect we touched on a little bit in the first hour, but I wanted to go into a little bit deeper. Is the chemtrails, because I have just noticed it, and it seems like things have stepped up dramatically in the last month. The amount of chemtrails that are being dropped here in Western Washington are just staggering. So, what do you think the plan behind these things are, Laura?
yes. It's really, yeah. I mean, the nanotechnologies is what I'm really concerned about. Is more than anything else is that they do want to and like have us monitored, and so they spray this, and we absorb it, and it allows them to track us in a sense. It's also, I think it has a lot to do with dumbing us down so that our higher chakras can't really connect and we can't really ascend. I mean, that's the worst part of it. And also, of course, it affects our health. And I think it's how they make money off of us is to keep us sick and to have us infected, and it's also to thin out the population, I would say. And yeah, so like I said, it's partly microchipping so that they can follow us through the use of antennas. Um, and there's ways to detox this and get some of the stuff out of our system. But I think it's really important to do all that we can to make sure that we alert the media so that these things can be discussed, because they are everywhere. I mean, my children have been affected. I mean, their schools. I mean, kids are sick, and so they contain nasty mixes of parasites, pathogens, toxic heavy metals. Like I said, in my the barium and aluminum, and the high-tech nano-engineered particles that they basically designed in the lab to assemble inside of our bodies into nanomachines, which will microchip us from the inside unless we do cleanses to remove the particles that are forming and assembling inside of our bodies. And so yeah, it's very disturbing. So it's important that people are educated and know what to do to keep themselves free of it. And we're most likely all of us are infected already.
So
Yeah.
another aspect of the chemtrails that we interviewed Jay Widener a couple of weeks ago, and
He's
he
one of my favorites.
yeah he has another theory about one of the main purposes of the chemtrails, and it has something to do with the cosmic radiation that's coming from the center of the galaxy and from the universe, and the heavy metals that are being dropped in the atmosphere are creating a sort of a shield that is designed to uh, partially block the incoming waves of cosmic radiation or love or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it affects our crown chakras and our ability to ascend and really connect to those frequencies. And that's pretty much the core of the reason, is to keep us from ascending and to keep us, so they have power and control over us. So yeah, no, that's right on.
Yeah. Well, by your description with the nanotechnology, I just keep getting one image in my head, and for you Trekkie fans, the whole Borg thing, how they would assimilate all these different races, and basically they would pump nanotechnology into your body, and then they're able to take a hold of you um, in many different ways, and one of them was telepathically. Do you think that's something that they're trying to go towards that way? Is the more of this technology they pump your body with,
Well,
the more they're able to control you?
Ramon, Hollywood has a tendency to put things out that the dark side is trying to do in their shows, just like that. what was it, the X-Files show that aired a couple months before the Twin Towers were taken down, where they were flying. The X-Files episode had some guys or a computer took over the airplane and was going to fly it into the Twin Towers. I mean, Hollywood puts this stuff right in your face, and then it plays out in the world.
Well, that's why the movie Avatar was really nice to see, because it seemed like, it just, it spoke of, just like a lot of movies, there's always that epic battle between good and evil, but then in the end, what happens? The good guys win, and it's happily ever after, and the king and queen are married, and the kingdom's restored. I mean, that's sort of how I'm seeing things, and that's sort of what my message is about sacred union, not so much, the love story of creation on a larger level, and the reuniting of heaven and earth and Christ Sophia within our own nature. And, these frequencies are higher than what they're doing. It's just, I mean, they're only trying to delay the inevitable with all these different things. And as long as we know what their intention is, as long as we know what they're plotting against, then we can find ways to counteract it, because there are ways to counteract it. And I think it's important that people start to purchase the things that help counteract it, because they actually might pull these things off the market, which makes it really hard for us to heal or detox, or because they're going to start really controlling our food and supplements. And, so, I mean, I'm not trying to scare people, but, I mean, this is a really important year to before too much damage is done, to nip it and get hopefully Obama involved. I mean, even though he's got one foot in the dark side and one in the light, I feel, my goal is to take it as far as I can and really contact a lot of people in DC that are kind of oblivious, that have good hearts, because there's a lot of good people that are serving these agendas and don't even know it, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of the reasons. This is all one of the reasons why we're pushing the heirloom seeds and that sort of thing on the website.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that I don't understand why no one's making any noise about is you're not allowed to, in certain states, you're not allowed to collect rainwater. That whole thing that happened in California with the FBI coming in with the organic store.
Right.
Just
my work, my boss, and was interviewed for that, because that's right near. We're friends with those folks.
Yeah, I find it amazing that this goes over and no one says, people act like it's normal.
And just like with the scanners at the airport, people had a chance to refuse, and it was like there was one day where it was up to the public to decide what they were going to do about it, and barely anybody protested. Everybody's just so easily giving their bodies over and saying, "Okay, scan me," and it's just like unbelievable, because there are times that we really do have a chance to say no, and people don't.
Right. Well, they've been dumbed down so much and pacified. I think I won't put all the credit on this, but I think the fluoride has a lot to do with it. That's in our drinking waters, because it makes us less aggressive. I mean, that's what the Germans put it in the concentration camp drinking water in the first place for, was because it pacified the population.
Right. Yeah, and I mean they do mess with our food and everything like that. So, right, it's hard to get everybody to stand up and do something. In Egypt it's a little bit different. It's like here, it's like people have their TVs, they have their cars. As long as they're kind of ignorant to these agendas going on, they're kind of just in their little trance and living their little lives. And unless it hits close to home, unless it's their child or their husband or their particular body that they find is being infected or messed with, or they really start to see through it, they're not going to do anything. And they're going to look at those that are talking about this like we're crazy. And so until it hits home in somebody's personal life, it's very hard to get these messages across.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing with Egypt, I love it how because I talk about it, I teach English here in Japan, and I'll bring that up in with my higher level English classes, and I'll ask them, what they think about it, and right away they all say, it's because of Facebook and YouTube, and I go, no, wait a second, where did you hear that? And of course they heard it from the major media, that it's because of Facebook. And I said, no, they didn't mention anything about how the man got frustrated and set himself on fire as an example. And I'm not saying go out and do that. That's not what I'm saying. But um, I love it how right away the media turned around and blamed it on Facebook and said, "Oh no, it's because we have internet."
Well, I think they want they're really pushing hard to get some legislation through for that censorship of the internet. And if they do that, I'll guarantee you shows like ours here, where we talk about anything and everything that we want to talk about. Shows like ours here will either be completely shut down or will be licensed and have to follow a certain format and something.
Right.
If it goes through that, or they'll just say no, you can't do it without FCC approval or some crap.
Yeah,
Right.
that's kind of this. Well, they are going that way because they were trying to blame shows like ours and mostly I forgot the name of the show, but with the whole thing that happened in Arizona with the senator and how they were what's his name, the guy who shot the senator?
Oh, I don't remember.
Do you remember,
I don't know.
Laura?
No, I don't remember his name.
Uh, anyway, everybody would be familiar with that, and how they right away start blaming these kind of shows and saying that he used to listen to these kind of shows and he was a big fan of
David
Zy-
Icke.
David Icke.
David Icke. Yeah,
Zeitgeist.
you brought
Yeah,
up.
Oh, that's all BS.
yeah, of course it is.
He's mind controlled. I mean, that's what they do. They it's the whole assassin thing. It's like, and then they're trying to make it out to be like these things are dangerous by creating this false story. That the truth messes with people and then turn people away from David and others. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely crazy.
Because if he was really listening to David Icke, he would be trying to find Cheney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Icke. David doesn't pull any punches there at all. I like his material. He's got some pretty good stuff out there. We're actually trying to get him on the show too. So if anybody out there knows David and has a close contact with him, we've tried to get a hold of him, but no luck yet.
Yeah. So, Tom, there goes our professional journalism.
Oh, there you go. All right. Okay, so military-industrial complex. Okay, your great-grandfather gave a fantastic speech when he left office, and it was something that had been brewing and growing for quite a few years before he came into office. It has become such a big monster right now that I mean, I really don't understand where they're trying to go with it, with this world, with the Federal Reserve and the money situation and all that. What's your views on that, Laura?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what there's. I mean, the thing is, people are talking about the dollar collapsing and there won't be a dollar, but it's just like, I mean, they're aware of that. The thing is, they've got technologies that they can track and screw with timelines, and I mean, they're staying one step ahead of us, but but spirit and all the good stuff is one step ahead of them, of course. But if the dollar's gone or money's gone, they're going to be using cards and chips, and there's going to be a whole other way that they're going to. I mean, it's all about monitoring us. It's all about the super highways and closing us in these cities, and just having something collapse that they're well aware of, and it's people are always like, oh, but everything's collapsing, they're collapsing. It's like, no, they're rising with a lot of very disturbing things. And we need to pay attention to how we can put a stop to it. Because the numbers, I mean, the people, I mean, they're criminals. So, it's a small percentage compared to the millions of good people that are out there. So, I mean, we outnumber them. So it's ridiculous to, not take a stand. And, when one thinks of technologies, these things can be deactivated. These things can be destroyed. These